I don't even know how to start this video. I don't know how to start any of my videos, but this one in particular is like so, I don't want to start this one. I don't know. I guess we'll start from the top, right? Like that's where you start every story. You start from the beginning. January and February have been amazing, excellent reading months for me. March, I mean, I guess quantity-wise has been a wonderful month, but I just have noticed that, and this is not like for any particular reason, but I just have noticed that I have been so disconnected from what I have been reading and what I have been interested in reading. I will say that my tastes have evolved and changed, and I think that's just something that happens as a reader, especially as a mood reader. You just kind of grow, and you maybe you hyper focus on one genre, and then you're like, okay, I'm sick of that, and so you start to focus on another genre. I'm not really sure. I have talked to a lot of my friends about this as well who are readers, and they have felt similarly, where they just feel as though the content in the books that they've been reading just haven't really been up to par. I've noticed a lot of my friends haven't even found a 5-star read this month, like not this month, but like this year. Some are just very disappointed with the quality that they've been reading on books, and I'm not sure if that's just because it's March, and I think in March, like historically speaking, at least on my behalf, March has always been a very difficult reading month for me. It's always been a lot going on, and I just feel like there's so much out there. There's so many books out there, and the new books that have been coming out, I haven't exactly been, except for like maybe a few, I haven't exactly been so excited. And so I don't like starting videos off like this. I really want this channel to be just positive and a place of rest, and where you can come and you watch the videos, and like maybe you're cooking dinner for your family or yourself, or maybe you're working out or something like that. Like I just want these videos to be a place of relaxation and positivity. I don't ever want to like come on here and just be super negative. And honestly, like the way I have been feeling about some, not all of the books that I have read, okay? I just finished 2 books that back to back that I was like floored by, and it was very much thanks to a creator, and you will see that video hopefully in March, hopefully before you see this one, but we'll see. It is the end of Q1 anyways. I've been breaking up my reading in the corporate world, where there's Q1, Q2, Q3, and Q4. And so we are coming up to the end of Q1. And so I do want to spruce up my bookcase, because I think maybe that could be one of the reasons. Maybe there wasn't enough of a variety on the bookshelf for me to pick from. It's possible that I just had too much of one genre, and that is something that I am somebody who is very focused on here and now, and I have a hard time with planning what my emotions may be in the future, because I can only tell you about my feelings right now. And there are times where, because I'm in a bad mood, I've never had a good mood. Like, I can't remember feeling happy or good or anything like that. Like if I get into an argument with my husband, we're always fighting. There's never been a time when and that's not true. And I know that's not true, and that's something that I am working on, but just, you know, like I think that when I created the bookshelf for Q1, my mood in that moment was, I'm just gonna read fantasy and dark academic and like more darker books. And so that was what I had to choose. Like, do you see the amount of dark colors on this bookshelf? And it's just, that was what I was in the mood for in January. Like that's what I wanted to read in January. So that made sense that that's what was reflected. And now I'm kind of like, okay, like I would like to read something maybe of a different variety, of a different taste or something. I'm not sure. I just wanted to redo the bookcase. I also apologize. I'm trying so hard to drink more water. And so if I keep reaching for this, I'm so sorry. The more water I drink, the more thirsty I become. I don't know how that works out, but I swear, like, I've been drinking so much water lately, and the more I drink, I promise you, it's like the next day I'm like, where's my water? Where's my water? I need my water. I want to redo the bookcase. It's the end of Q1. We might as well have a new bookcase for Q2. I was planning on doing this video before I had decided, like, this bookcase is making me sad to look at it. I had already decided that I was going to do a new bookcase every quarter, and so I'm very happy that this is happening now. Lately, I have been getting into a lot of contemporary fiction as well as thrillers and YA. I have noticed that there are certain YA books that I really just don't care about, and that mostly are YA books that teeter on adults. I am just not a huge fan of those books. I think it's fine. Like, I obviously read adult books, I read adult romances. However, when I'm reading a YA, I want it to be YA. I don't want the cursing. It gets really old really fast. And I have noticed that in YA books, if there is cursing, they try to, like, push it as much as they possibly can with the cursing. And I've noticed that there's adult books that don't even do that, and it's just very frustrating because it feels like they're forcing to be relatable to a teenager. When I was a teen, I did not curse. I did not at all. Like, it was not something that was done. My mother would have thrown her flip-flop at my head. Like, it just did not happen. I remember one time I said AF, and my mom knew what that meant, and oh my gosh, I was seeing the previous week. That's how hard I was, like, in trouble. And it's just that, like, I don't know, like, I just am not, I guess because I don't curse, I find it really cringy when other people do. Like, it kind of just takes me out of that moment. Now, I'm not saying that I'm perfect and that I don't curse on the occasion. I do, especially when I'm angry and upset and I don't know how to express myself. I don't know how to express that I'm angry. I will just kind of, like, throw words to the wall and hope that somebody grasps, okay, she's upset right now. So that definitely happens. I'm not saying that I'm absolutely, like, this golden child. Absolutely not. Like, 110%, absolutely not. I am the biggest mess you will ever see. And so I just haven't really been loving a lot of those YA books that have tons of cursing in it, a ton of petting. Like, that's another thing, is that when I think, and maybe I'm wrong, I don't know, but I feel like when I was in that YA range, when I was much younger and I was in that YA range, I feel like when I was reading YA books, I was reading a lot of plot and not as heavy on, like, the romance. I mean, like, yeah, Twilight, but, like, you know, like, you've got, like, the Hunger Games was not a love story. Hunger Games was not a love story. Divergent was not a love story. Yeah, there was romance in it, but it was just so minimal to the actual storyline that is not what I focused on. Harry Potter is another thing. Percy Jackson was another one. Those were books that I loved growing up. Like, I loved those series. I loved those books. You know what I mean? Like, they just were so good. And I just want to say, like, I don't remember being so focused on the romance. I feel like I was more focused, and I think this has just been my personality. This may not be the case for you. I think everybody is different, and I think that's such a wonderful thing in reading and experiences in reading. I think people look for different things in books. I look more for adventures and more for, like, mysteries and stuff like that. And I think that's why I've kind of really enjoyed contemporary fiction and thrillers and stuff like that, because I am just not looking for romance at this point. Not to say that I don't love a good romance. I do love romance books, don't get me wrong. I have my shirt that says romance reader, and so I do love romance. I do love that. I just am not looking for that when I'm picking up specific books, and it throws me off it takes me out of the reading experience. So with that said, I think that I've just been reading a bunch of books that have been kind of taking me out of the reading experience. And one thing that I have noticed is that some of the books that I have been reading, they really do feel like books that I am reading. And maybe you can't relate to that. Maybe every book you read is a book that you are reading, but oftentimes when I read, I am visually seeing the words come to life. You're not telling me that you're walking into a red house and I'm not seeing the words red house. I see a red house and I see you walking in there. And so that's what happens when I'm reading. And I've noticed that there are a lot of books that are so jarring with either their language or the petting or whatever is going on that it takes me out of the story, and I can see that I am currently reading a book. And that has been kind of just not the greatest feeling for me. Again, not every book. Just lately, that's what's been going on. And so I'm not sure how to remedy this, because that's the thing. Like, I'm a review channel. I review books, right? So you guys are coming to me to see what books to read. So I am the guinea pig, right? Like, I'm out here reading these books to tell you, like, okay, this is what this book did and this is what that book did, and you read whichever one you want to read. So I guess, you know, that is kind of the nature of the position I've put myself in. It just is kind of like, oh gosh, I really wish that there was either more on the back, or maybe I need to do more research before I pick these books out. But I'm not sure what the case is. All I know is that there are times when I will read a book and I'm like, you know what? This person's writing may not be for me. So both my dogs are sitting on the couch right now, just like staring at me like, when are you going to be done recording? These past 3 months, I have read so many books that, well, okay, so here, this whole row right here is completely empty, right? Like, there's no books down here. There's like a couple spaces in my bookshelf where obviously like there's a book missing here. On this far bookshelf over here, there's a bunch of places where books could go. So I feel like I've actually done a really good job in reading a lot of the books that I've already owned. I don't know, I will know the numbers in the reading journal update that I do at the I do a reading journal update in the first week of the new month of the previous month. So March's reading journal will happen in April, and I'll have more stats about my reading journey in that. So I'll have like information on how many books did I read that I owned versus how many books did I read that was recently purchased in 2024. So I'll have more statistics on that in that video, but I am pretty excited because I have clearly read enough to at least clear a shelf, maybe even a shelf and a half. So that's very, very exciting. And I am very, very pumped because, I mean, you see this in the reading wrap-ups at the end of every month, but there have been books that I've been reading on the side and they have been like big books, and I'm just so excited to knock those off because they were there forever and ever and ever and ever, and it's nice to have them off my shelf. What did I do last time when I redid this bookshelf? I know last time I took every single book off and I counted everything and then I put them in the reading journal, and that was a whole thing. I'm not wanting to do that, but I do want to go through the bookcase and just see, okay, like what books do I really want to get to still? Because there are certain books on this bookcase that I'm like, oh, I really think I could get to that in April or May or whatever. Like, I really still want that there because I do want to get to it eventually. And then there's other books that I'm like, you know what, I just am not going to get this. I'm not going to get to this anytime soon. So we can just go ahead and take that off. So I do want to go through and see what books I would like to keep and what books I don't want to keep. And then I think after that, I will go ahead and just pull books off. And then I will bring books over that I think I would be interested in reading, and then we'll put them on the bookshelf to see what fits, what doesn't fit, all of that good stuff. I think I also need a new battery. It's at 30%, so maybe I can do a little bit more. This very much does catch my attention every time I see it, but I just don't think I'm going to get it to it anytime soon. So maybe no. And then there's also Ghosted. Again, I don't think I'm gonna get to this anytime soon. Into the next months. I think we're going to take apart the bookcase, put books that we're keeping on one side and then books that we're getting rid of on another side. And then I think I'm just going to speed this up because I don't want to be here forever and I don't want this video to be 8 hours long. And so I think I'm going to fast forward this a little bit, and so you're going to see me zooming around. But first I'm going to go get a new battery so that I don't have to change it later. And then we will come back and we'll talk about the books that I'm putting on the shelf and like how I feel about that. So let's go do that. So I did it. I finished, so I'm excited. I did a little bit of math because I do like stats. I do like numbers. I'm a numbers person. If you're not a numbers person, then this might be a little boring for you. But currently on the shelves, I have 140 books on these 3 shelves. This is not including like these books. I didn't change those books, and I also did not count those books. So on this bookcase, I have 300, on this bookcase, I have 38 books. So there's 3 shelves, there's 38 books on there. In the middle one, I have 20 on just these 2. There's 20 books. And then on this last one, there are 82 books, which gives me a grand total of 140 books. And I was thinking, like, I think I want to get about 30% of those books read, which would be 42 books in 3 months. And that would be roughly about 14 books per month. I do think that that is doable, especially since some of these books are quite small. And I do like to read at least for an hour every single day. So I do think that it is very possible to read 14 books in a month, especially since that's my job. So I don't think it'll be difficult. I do believe that it is very possible to get to those books, is what I'm trying to say. So that is the goal for the next 3 months, is to knock down 30% of the books on this bookcase. My goal this whole year, in case you didn't know, my whole goal this year is to knock down as many of my physical TBR books that I have just had for years and years and years and never read and never got to. I have read some pretty amazing books that I, frankly, if I hadn't read them this year, I probably would have thought about doing an unhaul with them. And I actually read them this year, and I was like, I am glad I didn't unhaul this, because that was a really good book. The first book that comes to mind is The Siren by Kiera Cass, and that book was so good. It's a YA book, and it was just so good, and I really enjoyed it. So I think that there are some gems in this bookcase. I think there's definitely some gems. There's also some newer books on there as well. There's a lot of my book of the month books on this shelf. I tried to do the colors. It didn't work out as well as I thought it was going to, but I tried, okay? That's the whole point, is that I tried. So I did kind of break up these bookcases to go for a specific theme to help me in narrowing down the books that I am not only interested in reading, but that I want to gravitate toward. So I don't want to do what I did the last quarter in Q1, where I just put a bunch of the same genre. So I tried to mix it up as much as I could. On this shelf, I have a lot of my adult, these are going to cause me to think books. And I don't mean that in they're more intelligent or more thought-provoking. I don't mean any of that. I just mean that the themes are more adult. I don't know if that's gonna make sense. They're not popcorn books. Does that make sense? There's this type of book that is a popcorn book, and it's just an easy to digest book, okay? It's pretty straightforward. You know what the plot is. These are a little bit more complex. A lot of them are contemporary books or thriller. I think a couple are fantasy, but not many. So let me go through these. We have Lisa Jewell, None of This Is True. Just Another Missing Person by Gillian McAllister. Jojo Moyes, Someone Else's Shoes. Abby Jimenez, Part of Your World. Amita Parikh, I'm so sorry, I don't know how to say that last name. The Circus Train. This looks so good. I'm really excited to actually go into this. Abby Jimenez, yours truly. Steve Kavanaugh, Kill for Me, Kill for You. Sierra Greer, Annie Bot. Rebecca Ross, Ruthless Vows. Amy Tintera, Listen for the Lie. Liane Moriarty, Apples Never Fall. And Angie Kim, Happiness Falls. We have John Scalzi, Starter Villain. Jenna Rose, Nethercott? Thistlefoot. Riley Sager's Survive the Night. The Wilder Women by Ruth Emmy Lang. Vita Nostra by Marina and Sergei Dyakenko. I'm not sure how to say that. I am not Russian. The Invisible Life of Addie LaRue by V.E. Schwab. The Stolen Heir, as well as The Prisoner's Throne by Holly Black. Trees of Emerald Sea by Brandon Sanderson. Heartless Hunter by Kristen Corelli, A Fate Inked in Blood by Danielle L. Jensen, and Bride of the Winter King by Holly Rose. Alone with You in the Ether by Olivia Blake. Ghosted by J.M. Darhauer. The Cabin by Jacinda Wilder. Luckiest Girl Alive by Jessica Knoll, and The Ruin by Dervla McTiernan. The Ballerinas by Rachel Kopelke-Dale. The Turn of the Key by Ruth Ware. All the Dangerous Things by Stacey Willingham. The Locked Door by Frida McFadden. Salt to the Sea by Ruta Sepetys. When We Were When We Were Birds, Ayana Lloyd Bonwo. Christina Lauren, The True Love Experiment. She Started It by Cian Gilbert, and Chasm by Stacey McEwen. And that completes that bookcase. So let's move to the middle one. For this shelf, I have Under Wildwood and Wildwood Imperium. This is books 2 and 3 of the Wildwood book series. A Sky Beyond the Storm by Sabata. Actually, I just have the whole, this is An Ember in the Ashes series. I have all of them, and it's by Sabata here. And I've read the first one, but there's Torch Against the Night, A Reaper at the Gates, and Sky Beyond the Storm that I want to get to. And then this is the Mirror Visitor by Christelle Davos. And so it's Winter's Promise, The Missing of Claire de Lune, The Memory of Babel, and The Storm of Echoes. So I do want to get to this series. It's like so, oh my gosh, I really want to get to it. Okay, and then last on the shelf, we have the Red Queen series. So we've got Broken Throne, King's Cage, War Storm, and Glass Sword. This is by Victoria Aveyard. Again, I already read the first book, Red Queen, so it's not in there. I have the Red Rising series. So there's Red Rising, Golden Sun, Mirroring Star, Iron Gold, and Dark Age by Pierce Brown. And then finally, these are the last 2 books down there, and it's by Natasha Nagin. And these are the Girls of Paper and Fire series. So there's Girls of Storm and Shadow and Girls of Fate and Fury. I already read Girls of Paper and Fire, and I just never finished the series. So I do want to do that. And that is the second bookcase. So that just leaves this third one, and it is monstrositous. So that's not a word, but you know what I'm trying to say. So let me get some water. 2 of the B.K. Borison books, and it's Mixed Signals and In the Weeds. I already read Love Light Farms. I read that back in December, and so I do want to get to these books. Then we have Ellen Hilderbrand. This is the Troubles in Paradise, Winter in Paradise, What Happens in Paradise. So it's the Paradise trilogy. And then I have Tessa Bailey. I have Secretly Yours and Unfortunately Yours. I do believe that this is a series, right? Correct me if I'm wrong. So I do want to get to these, especially since this one I have signed by Tessa Bailey. So I do want to read Girl Abroad by Elle Kennedy, the prep novels by Elle Kennedy as well. So there's Rogue and Misfit. And then I have the Briar You series as well by Elle Kennedy. And there's The Chase, The Risk, The Play, and The Dare. And these are the original covers. She's coming out with new covers. So am I gonna get those? Probably not. I probably won't. Do I want them though? Last but not least, I have Elsie Silver's Chestnut Springs series. And so there's Flawless, Powerless, Heartless, Reckless, and Hopeless. For Aunties in a Wedding, I did read the Dial A for Aunties, and I thought it was hilarious. I really liked it, and so I already had book 2. I didn't realize that it was book 2 until I was like, oh, it's book 2. Oh my gosh. A Study in Charlotte by Brittany Cavallaro. This is J. Courtney Sullivan, Friends and Strangers. I also have Trading Places by Emily Duval, A Spinster's Guide to Danger and Dukes by Amanda Collins, The Magic of Lemon Drop Pie by Rachel Linden, Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies by Heather Fawcett, It Starts with a Dog, or It Started with a Dog by Julia London, and then we have Wildfire by Hannah Grace, because I did read Icebreaker, so I heard that this was very different from Icebreaker, so we'll see. Out on a Limb by Hannah Bonin Young. Love and Olives by Jenna Evans Welch. I love Jenna Evans Welch. I think she's such a fantastic author. So I have Love and Olives, and I also have Love and Luck. So both by Jenna Evans Welch. And then I also have Most of All You by Mia Sheridan, as well as I have More Than Words by Mia Sheridan, Funny Feelings by Tara Dewitt, The Last Chance Library by Freya Sampson, and Last Chance Books by Kelsey Rodkey. I have You Bet Your Heart by Daniel Parker, We Can't Keep Meeting Like This by Rachel Lynn Solomon, Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter, Beach Read by Emily Henry. Can you believe I haven't read this yet? Oh my gosh. A Thousand Boy Kisses by Tilly Cole, Powerless by Lauren Roberts, Crooked Kingdom by Leigh Bardugo, The Grimrose Girls by Laura Pohl, If He Had Been With Me by Laura Nolan. Pretty Little Mistake by Michalta Smeltzer. I'm so sorry if the book is falling. All the Little Raindrops, also by Mia Sheridan. Wilder Girls and Burn Our Bodies Down by Rory Power. The Grace Year by Kim Leggett. All the Way Home by Liza Jonathan. And Along for the Ride by Sarah Dezen. What You Wish For by Catherine Center. Meet Me at the Lake by Carly Fortune. Nothing But the Truth by Holly James. Everything After by Jill Santopolo. How to Ruin a Wedding by Sophie Andrews, and Nothing But It All by Adriana Locke. Match Me If You Can by Tiana Smith. Kind of a Big Deal by Shannon Hale. And then Tokyo Ever After and Tokyo Dreaming by Amiko Jean. This is the last shelf on the last bookcase. So we have One of Us Is Lying and One of Us Is Next. This is by Karen M. McManus. Okay, I'm sorry, I can read. We have the Matched series by Ali Condi. There's Matched, Reached, and Crossed. We also have the Daughter of the Pirate King series by Trisha Lemonseller. And there is Daughter of the Pirate King, Daughter of the Siren Queen, and then Vengeance of the Pirate Queen. We also have Foxglove because I loved Belladonna. This is by Adeline Grace. And then we have The Last Legacy. This is by Adrienne Young. We have Nightbane and Light Lark, both by Alex Astor. And then last but not least, we have the Shadow Me series by Tabre Mafi, and my goodness gracious, we have that series. Okay, so we have all of those books are on the shelves now, and I think that is everything. I am very much looking forward to the next 3 months because I do believe that this is going to be a lot of a better, it's going to allow me to go through my books and be like, okay, what am I in the mood for, and not what was I in the mood for yesterday or last month or whatever. What was my hyperfixation genre for the previous month. So I think that this is going to be better. I already feel a lot more positive about reading. I already feel a lot better about the books that I'm about to be choosing. So I think what I just needed was just like a fresh bookcase to stare at and to pick and choose from. There's a lot of books back there that I'm very much interested in, that I really want to get to, that I really want to read. And so I am very, very excited about that. And I think that is actually everything. So you guys just saw all the books that are on the bookcase. I just went through all of them with you. If there's any books that you saw back there and you were like, hey, I would love for you to get to this book for whatever reason. Maybe you are interested in reading it. Maybe you're interested in the author. Whatever it is that you would like, if there is a book that I have said that I've put on my shelf, maybe it's a new one, maybe it's an older one, and you were like, oh my gosh, I really want to know more about this book. Can you please like put it on the more important side? That book is going to make it to the very top of my list of books to read, okay? Because I do want to tailor this channel into things that you are interested in reading or watching, etc., etc. Or maybe there's a book series back there that you're like, I loved this book and I just want someone else to be as obsessed as I was. So if you could also read it and become obsessed with me, that would be great. That's happened before where someone has said like, I really loved this book, and that book series has made it to the top, okay? I can already tell you that there's a book series that I do plan on reading very shortly, and that would be this series right here, the Mirror Visitor series, because one of you has already said that they really loved book 1, and so I am going to I'm planning on reading those quite soon. So it's on my list, it's on what I want to read and all of that stuff. So I'm very, very excited. I am looking forward to the next 3 months. I do have some books coming in April. I know I have a bunch of pre-orders that are coming in, and I'm gonna be honest with you guys, the pre-orders are kind of starting to stress me out because I have been getting some pre-order books and I read them and I just didn't love them. So I'm a little nervous for the next pre-orders in April because I don't want I don't want to like pre-order books and then not be like super ecstatic about it. If you guys aren't familiar, I'm on a whole year-long book buying ban. The only books that I can purchase are books for a monthly subscription that I'm already subscribed to, except for 2 that I was on a waiting list for, which I did get accepted to. So those are now on that, as well as gift cards. I can use gift cards. I used already a bunch of gift cards. And then also I can buy books for like book clubs that I'm in. I'm currently in 2 book clubs. So I can buy books for those. Oh, special editions that I will never be able to purchase ever again. Those also don't count. So, but if I get the special editions, I have to have already read the book. I think that's everything. I think that's it. Thank you guys so much. Don't forget to leave down those comments. Tell me what you guys are thinking. Tell me everything. I want to know, like, are you struggling with reading as well? Is this like that time of the month? Like, are we hitting that time of the year where things are getting just a little bit more difficult? Has life just happened and been kind of, you know, in your face and you just haven't had a chance to read? Like, tell me what's going on. I would love to know. I want this to be like a positive space where we can just talk about books because I love talking about books. I will also say that one of the things that I have been doing is I've been reading my Bible a lot more than I've been reaching for fiction. And that's just the season that I'm in right now. I've been leaning a lot on reading my Bible and praying and stuff like that. So I do think that that just happens to be the season that I'm in, but I am really excited for April and May and June, so I'm hoping that we get some really good reads in there. Again, I'm trying to knock about 30% off this Bookcases. I would really like to knock at least like 30% of that, so that would be very nice. And yeah, I think that's everything that I have for you guys. Don't forget to subscribe if you're not already subscribed. And if you've made it through the end of this video and you're not subscribed, I don't know what's going on. Like, you need to subscribe. What do I need to do to convince you? But other than that, don't forget to like the video. And yeah, I guess I will see you guys in my next video. I feel very positive right now. Like, I feel good. So that's good. All right, I will talk to you guys later. Thank you. Bye.